Neuroscience has proven ways to combat fatigue, burnout, and enhance creativity with tools better than coffee. There's hundreds of practices out there, but to keep me sane, I boiled them down to just a few. For 90 days, I implemented 8 health habits dialed in to elevate my creative state. Some of them easy, while others much harder. After 3 months, things like brain fog and procrastination flew out the window, and I started making better movies, better life choices, and felt that my fuse was much longer, while other things much shorter. We won't talk about that. In this video, I'm gonna give away my sexy secrets for creativity and share my rude awakening with all of them at the end of the video. So let's start with number uno.
I wake up in the morning and I want to reach for my phone. But I know that even if I were to crank up the brightness on that phone screen, it's not bright enough to trigger that cortisol spike and for me to be at my most alert and focused throughout the day and to optimize my sleep at night. So what I do.
If you listen to Huberman talk, almost every single podcast or lecture he does typically talks about sun exposure. Now, sun exposure is looking at the sun or being around the sun in your first few hours of the day and your last few hours in the night. Science has proven that absorbing morning light boosts cognitive performance and focus. I recognize if I just stayed inside or absorbed my sunlight through a window in the morning hours, I would feel more tired, and it didn't matter how many cups of coffee I drink, I would still feel like I couldn't focus. The rules of these steps are you cannot absorb light through windows and it has to be outside. If it's sunny out, you only need like 5 to 10 minutes. If it's cloudy out, you probably need closer to 30, which usually a quick morning walk gets this. It'll actually help with your sleep, which goes to my second one, which is sleep. Sleep has been something I've prioritized more than almost anything this year, and I typically get around 14 hours of sleep every night. Now, usually I go for about the sweet spot, which is about 8 hours. Now, according to the National Sleep Foundation, healthy adults should aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep every single night. And if you're struggling to sleep, it can be related to something that I think we all do to be more productive, which is drinking coffee. The next thing I want to talk about is caffeine. Coffee is a miracle drug for creativity, but I found it doesn't work unless I've slept or gotten my sun exposure. I usually drink coffee between 9 and 11 a.m. and never take it after noon. This is because coffee actually has a half-life of 12 hours. That means you drink coffee at 11:30 a.m., it'll be in your system until 11:30 p.m., which means when you're trying to go to bed and you're feeling a little restless, that's probably because caffeine is still in your system. I just did 3 minutes in my cold tub. Now, I'm gonna bring up the hardest thing to put into your habits or routines, but it has been the number one by far for my focus and creative stamina, and that is cold exposure. Now, you can do this as simply as going into a cold shower, or take it to the extent which I have, which is actually having a cold tub set up in your backyard. Here's sort of my practice.
The fact that the camera's watching is making me so nervous.
Without fail, if I'm having a good morning or bad morning, a 2-minute dip partnered with a gratitude practice has changed my productivity. This is because cold exposure boosts dopamine in the body by 250%. This is more than cocaine. Not only that, but it actually stays in your system for hours. It also shoots your body with adrenaline, tapping into that fight or flight chemical in your body, waking it up 1,000 times faster than what a cup of coffee can do. Now, when you drink coffee on top of this, woo! This, partnered with its physical healing, like reducing inflammation and burning brown fat, makes it my most efficient practice I do daily. Now let's talk about this setup. The cold tub I have is this tub from the company Coldture. They're a Canadian brand. I truly love how it works. I set it to 3.0 degrees Celsius. Now you can do it up to 7 degrees and they're still getting those health benefits. And then I sit inside it for about 2 minutes. Up to 30 seconds, you get like that dopamine rush, which then wakes you up. Between 30 seconds and 2 minutes, you get the physical benefits of burning brown fat and reducing the inflammation within your body. Now, I've dipped in many different vessels, and actually the Coldture one is my favorite. This is because it's made out of a blow-up material, which actually the soft cushion makes it more comforting. When you're in an uncomfortable situation like cold exposure, a soft cocoon, if you will, feels the best. If you'd like to learn more about this tub and support a Canadian company that's just growing, these guys were just on Dragon's Den and they're absolutely crushing it. You can take a look at Coldture below. And if you do cold exposure and you're looking to expand on a community, we actually started one called Unbounded, which I'll also provide that in the description below. Now I want to give you guys some fast habits that I put in my day that really help benefit it. The first one is journaling. I do a 5-minute journal practice every day. Now you can either do a stream of consciousness, or what I do is just bullet points throughout my past day. And this gets your brain going and flowing, getting past that sort of mental hindrance that we constantly have when it comes to trying to get into some sort of creative flow state. And finally, if I don't do my cold exposure, I'll try and get my heart rate up for about 5 to 10 minutes in the morning and go all the way up to an hour. So some people do workouts, other people do cardio. This is the best way to get the blood flowing, get the brain rolling, and then get into all those things. Now, the one thing I did not bring up is the fact that all of these things I do before 10 a.m. in the morning. It's very important. There's been a lot of studies that show that the things that you do in the morning are what you prioritize in life. So if you wake up and look at your phone, chances are your brain is going to start thinking that's important, and you're going to look at your phone more often. Yet if you wake up and do things that make your body feel good, or some sort of practices that help mental stamina, focus, and clarity, you're going to feel that throughout the day, and same goes with how you end your day. Now, obviously, being in the right headspace is only the first step to actually getting things done. The next thing is choosing the right project that gets you excited, which is what I want to share with you in this video. I'm doing a 4-week filmmaking boot camp, which is going to teach you how to make a movie from start to finish. Filmmaking is overwhelming. It's expensive and time-consuming and feels like you need a million connections just to get anywhere. Not to mention, once you've gotten past all the gatekeepers, you also need one of the most important things: a dynamic story that sells. But what if there was a way around all of this? What if filmmaking could be easier? After decades of making films, I realized there's a cheat code that no one is talking about. It's a simple model that skips past the industry bullshit and cuts to the basics of how to make a good film that people want to watch. I've taken what works with Hollywood, YouTube, and documentaries and blended into one style: hybrid filmmaking. Hybrid is how I've made award-winning feature films, ambitious shorts starring friends and Hollywood actors, and propelled passion projects I could have only dreamed of making. We're gonna be talking about how to become a Swiss Army knife filmmaker. So you'll make a film from start to finish on the budget of under $100 with just tools and resources around you. You guys can sign up to a link below. This will get you access to the course whenever it first drops. It's gonna be a super fun 4 weeks. We're gonna be doing it live and interactive throughout this boot camp, and I promise you, if you follow by every single step, you will have a short film that you can submit to festivals in the span of 1 month. So like I said at the beginning of the video, there was some less desirable features of these healthy hacks. And the biggest one is that it takes a good chunk of your day out. And if you're not doing it every day, you start to feel like it's missing something. It's like any sort of good relationship in your life. As soon as it's gone, you feel the emptiness. So when we moved into our new home, which that's what this is, that's why maybe the backgrounds seem a little different, I started to feel off because I didn't have time to throw in those routines, and that emptiness was very prevalent. So what I'd recommend is just make time to do these things, and the lack of them is definitely noticeable. Now that the winter season is upon us in the northern parts of the world, it is the blues time. And I think a lot of us can start to feel not so good when the light, it feels like an hour a day you get, and the temperatures are so cold you don't even want to go outside. So take care of yourself and have a great day. Also, look at this thing. Do you like this? This is my wireless lav system. I was like, why does everyone record straight into the lavalier? Why don't you just plug it into like a boom mic? So that's what this is. It sounds, I think, much better than, hi, this is me speaking like a secret agent or anyone who's on the internet. I don't know how to say goodbye, and goodbyes are so hard, so I'll just say, I love your whole being.